Alright guys, thank you for having me on this particular episode. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe to my channel so that I can keep bringing value and videos. Alright, straight up, okay guys, the topic that I will be looking at today basically is top 10 African countries where xenophobia and hostility towards foreigners have been reported. Without wasting any more time, across Africa, migrants, refugees and foreign nationals sometimes face discrimination, abuse and forced expulsion. This video summarizes countries where international reports have documented significant incidents and patterns. Some include Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, UN agencies, and major news investigations. Okay, so pull a cushion, sit back, relax. Let me take you down the memory lane. Okay, first on the list is South Africa. South Africa has experienced repeated waves of xenophobic attacks, deadly riots, and hate speech against migrants and foreign nationals. Incidents documented by Human Rights Watch and regional analysts. Obviously, South Africa has experienced these issues over the time past, and these things keep reoccurring. So basically, if you have any plans of coming to South Africa, it is very mindful for you as a tourist or as a visitor, as a foreigner also to be wary of these issues so that you don't get caught up in the web. All right. Okay, next on the list is Libya. In Libya, UN and Human Rights Watch reporting documents severe abuses in detention centers and widespread trafficking and extortion of migrants, a humanitarian and protection crisis linked to conflict and militia control. Yes, gentlemen, since the ousting of Muammar Gaddafi, Libya has become very, very restive. So if you have any plans of going to those locations, my brother, please shine your eyes so that you don't become the victim. All right, next up is Tunisia. All right, Tunisia has seen violent attacks on Black African migrants, forced expulsions, and collective removals. Amnesty and Human Rights Watch have warned that racism and abusive police operations place migrants at a very, very grave risk. This is so because Tunisia is a northern African country that is close to some of these European countries. So the black immigrants, most of them, in trying to escape poverty from their different countries of origin, they use some of these northern Africans country as a route for escape. And of course, as long as they don't go through the legal means and they are going through an illegal means, of course, some of these particular issues, will always catch up with them. But if you are a foreigner or you have intention of actually visiting a country, just make sure you go through the legal way. All right. Okay, so the next on the list is Algeria. Okay, Algeria has been the focus of reports of mass expulsions to remote border areas in Niger, with NGOs recording tens of thousands of forced returns in 2023 and 2024. Oh yes, so in Algeria they have a phobia for foreigners, particularly blacks, and of course they are still in the business of actually taking those foreigners off their land. So Algeria is on the list of African countries that are into this particular space or that have found themselves having records of incidences like this. So as a traveler, as a foreigner, please beware, especially if you are a black person. All right, next up is Morocco. Human Rights Watch and other monitors have documented pushbacks and abusive policing of sub-Saharan migrants in Morocco, especially in northern region, used as migration transit route. Yes, Morocco still falls under those northern African countries where many of the black other African countries use as an escape route to get into Europe and other European countries. So basically, most of these particular issues stem up from the fact that they go through illegal means, and of course, when they go through illegal means, they meet stiff resistance, and sometimes the policing can go being the normal regular policing to human rights violations. So please, if you are having plans of going to Morocco, please, I think I would advise it's best for you to go through the normal and the proper legal means. All right. So next up is Egypt. Okay, in Egypt, right groups have documented mass arrest and deportation of Sudanese and other migrants alongside a surge of xenophobic online rhetoric and policing measures. Okay, so Egypt is not exempted from this particular list. And the next country on the list is Mauritania. I will not lie, this one, it shocked me. A very tiny small country, like Mauritania, has records of these xenophobic attacks. So Mauritania, long history of ethnic discrimination and recent reports of migration control abuses highlight systemic vulnerabilities for black migrants and marginalized communities. If you have any intention of actually visiting Mauritania, I would advise also that you go through the legal and the proper means. Do not go through an illegal means. Okay, all right. So next up on the list is Ethiopia. Conflict and militia violence in parts of Ethiopia have exposed refugees, including Sudanese arrivals, to killings, abductions, and forced labor, according to Human Rights Watch. So Ethiopia is one of of those particular countries that has this particular tendency and records of events that have happened that had to do with xenophobic attacks and racial attacks of foreign nationals, particularly blacks. Alright guys, last but not the least is Ghana. Surprisingly, Ghana was nowhere close to this particular list, but until recently when their government actually enacted some laws that had to do with trading in their country and restricting foreigners, particularly Nigerians, from trading directly and doing retail businesses in their countries. So Ghana obviously is on this particular list because it has been documented that of course Ghana is beginning to close the shops of Nigerians and those that are doing legal business in Ghana. So this one is just it's a developing story, and of course I know with time we will have clarity on this particular issue. Of course Ghana's own is quite understandable, and it's something that you cannot necessarily compare to the other few countries that I have mentioned earlier. It's just brewing, it's in the baby stage right now. So I know with time, as time progresses, we'll have more clarity on what the end goal basically is. But of course, we have received a report in the past that Ghanaians are agitating that other foreigners, aside from Nigerians, should leave their country. That of course, they are taking the best job opportunities for their nationals. So they are trying to create more opportunities for their nationals to run businesses and own businesses in their country. So basically, the last country on my list is Ghana. So guys, there you have it. This report shows that xenophobia and abusive migration controls as an urgent human rights challenge across regions. Solutions include stronger legal protection, independent monitoring, humanitarian access, and public campaigns against hate speech. Thank you for having me guys, and then I will see you at the other flip side.